Good evening, everyone. I am General Dr. Boniface Pereira, Honorable Opposition Leader. This is not a question, but this is a wider point. National survival depends on 7 key factors: national survival and national economy, national survival and national security, national survival and national diplomacy, national survival and national culture, national survival and national science and technology, then national survival and information and innovation. Lastly, it is a political capability. If I try to elaborate very briefly, national security is a wider spectrum. That you ask a question about national environment or the deforestation, it is part of national security. What happens if the trees are fell? All our waterways will dry up. When waterways are dried up, electricity will collapse. When electricity is not there, factories will have to be closed. When factories are closed, people lose jobs. When people lose jobs, they have no way of survival. They will get into the road and there will be a problem of national security. Unfortunately, people don't know the deforestation is part of national security. And we inhale, exhale. That is what you call air quality index. As per World Health Organization, air quality index should have been at number 25. But in here at Hilton, if you measure it, it should be somewhere around 150, 160. What is the health hazard of air quality index? Asthma, strokes, cancer, IQ quality drops. In the future, parents will have to bury children's dead body. So that is also coming under national security. So now one can understand the wide spectrum of national security. National defense is small portion of national security. National economy, I think Rohan Pallevat is more qualified than me to talk of national economy. The prices are exorbitant and national economy is also shrinking today. Then it comes to national culture. National culture is very important. What happened to LTTE? LTTE did strategical mistake of attacking our culture. What is our culture? Our culture is Buddhism. They attack Dalda Maligava, they attack Srima Bodhiya, they kill Arantala Buddhist priest. Despite of political differences, people got together and it became a people's war. That is how LTTE were defeated. In America, they attacked national culture. In Afghanistan, they lost it. They attack in Iraq, the national culture, they lost it. You can't play with national culture. What happened to UNP government? They jailed some priests and people capitalized it saying attacking national culture. So we have got to be very careful when handling national culture. Then diplomacy, national diplomacy, our foreign policy should be based on our culture. Our culture, then again Buddhism, theme of Buddhism is nothing but Avihimsa and Madhya Pratipada. We are friendly with everybody, enmity with no one. And we are not taking any one side. That is Madhya Pratipada. So when violating it, we will have a lot of troubles. Today we can see that. Then science and technology. Where are we? We are nowhere. World is developing very fast. We are still at Galluke. Unless we focus on science and technology, when new things are not adapted, we will not have any march forward. And Rohan will bear testimony of new thinking in terms of science and technology. It is very important. Intellectuals have no place. I did my PhD. I spent 5,000 night hours for 5 years, working from 7 in the evening, 3 o'clock in the morning. I found out something for the country, but no political leader gave me opportunity to implement it. No innovation or no science can be made it a reality without political support, unfortunately. This is a reality. So science and technology is very, very important. Then information and innovation. It's an information era. For economy or security or whatever, information is very important. And it is more than the knowledge base, the world is moving towards innovation base. Now take the roti. We have been eating roti for last 2,500 years. With little bit of innovation, they made it a pizza. Roti is 10 rupees, pizza is 1,000 rupees. So innovation is very important. So we have to, I work in Taiwan Science and Technology University as advanced researcher. In the medical field, they innovated 525 innovations. They produce best type of medical equipments. What is our innovation? Zero. අලුත් දේවල් තරම් නැති ජාතිය දිනු වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කතාවක් තියෙනවා. We have to pay much attention not to the innovation. Then lastly, it is a political capability. I am very happy that you are a good listener. You gave me 2 hours listening. I am very happy. I am so convinced about your listening capability. You will be a very wise leader in the future. By 2024, you can make it. I will make this statement and with confidence and with facts backed by science and factuals. Our political capability should have been based on 4 pillars, that is grand strategy, operational and tactical. We must never operate at tactical level, leaders. But about Prabhakaran, then again, he knows how to fire, how to place a gun, and how to attack a camp. That is tactical. He would have operated at strategical level. He did strategical mistakes of killing Rajiv Gandhi and attacking our culture. So that was a disaster. And our leadership should operate at strategical level so that next generation will not be fooled or face disasters. I think these are the 7 factors which I want to highlight for the benefit of your consideration and for the benefit of the audience. I would like to hear some comments on my statement. Thank you.
Let me at the outset express my thanks and gratitude to Major General Boniface Pereira, one of the pioneers, I believe, of the Vietmaga movement. And just the other day I had the good fortune of meeting him, and I went through the studies that he had conducted. In fact, I have a copy of his PhD thesis. I hope you got the originals back. Right. And the topic that his dissertation was based on was, I'm trying to summarize. I've not had the opportunity of reading because of time constraints, but I will read so. How in the aftermath of the war, with the demobilization taking place, the alternative livelihood plans for those soldiers who did much to bring peace and harmony to our society. So I was extremely, that's a good word to use, exhilarated by the fact that Dr. Major General Boniface Pereira has now become part and parcel of our professionals group and also of our think tank. And I totally agree with his concept on national security. In fact, during the presidential elections and also during the parliamentary elections, Of course, not necessarily dissecting national security into the 7 compartments which you have done, but generally speaking, I consider good health of our population also a facet of national security. A progressive and energetic education system, that's also part and parcel of our national security. So he believes in these 3 aspects of national security, which I totally believe in, because unfortunately the people of this country were duped into classifying national security solely at a military security level. One can understand, especially in the aftermath of the Easter Sunday attacks, there would be a greater propensity on the part of our people to focus on military security, no doubt. But what do we have right now? We don't have economic security. We don't have health security. And our economy is subjected to internal and external shocks. We are totally and absolutely dependent on any country that can hand out a loan, and thereby we have become dependent. So can you just see the mass scale auctioning taking place? So the leaders of our country are saying, oh, not the East, but you can have the West. Not this oil farm, but you can have the islands. You listen to those statements and you hear all these leaders talking about sovereignty, territorial integrity, political independence. What nonsense. Basically, to be very honest with you, the national agenda of our country, I'm sorry to say, right now is decided beyond our shores. We have become a vassal state. We are enslaved. We are economically enslaved. And while being economically enslaved, society continues to be dominated by slavish mentality. These are facts of life. So, I totally agree with Major General Boniface, Dr. Boniface, in terms of not confining this broad topic of national security just to military security. I think that's highly immature to do so. But unfortunately, that immature interpretation of national security gained primacy and gained credence and credibility among the Sri Lankan people. We have to be politically mature. We call ourselves a middle-income country. Of course, in the COVID time period now, we are reclassified or downgraded to being a low middle-income country. But still, is our society mature enough as a middle-income country? Do we engage in strategic voting, tactical voting? No, we don't. So I think in all aspects of our society, we have to go through a process of metamorphosis. That means, remove our present skins and, reinvent ourselves. Be mature, be modern in our thinking. Give due recognition to intelligence, knowledge, as he quite rightly said. Let's think of creating Silicon Valleys in our country. More focus on high technology. artificial intelligence, robotics, so on and so forth. These are achievable. But to achieve, we have to have a capable government, a government capable of innovating, a government capable of new thinking. But innovation, new thinking alone won't do. You have to have time-targeted implementation. So in terms of implementation, I have the Premadasa DNA. Do you know, in the late 80s and the early part of 90s, do you remember the time where we had two insurrections? Where we had LTT terrorism coupled with southern terrorism? So, my father referred to as Depatta pattu wena vilakkuwa. The country was burning on two sides, so to speak. But he managed to set up 200 garment factories. We encourage FDI into our country, foreign direct investment. There was net investment inflows into the country. Today we have net investment outflows, capital outflows. So if we were able to attract major investors to our country in the midst of two terrorist wars, surely we can emulate that during peacetime, even though we have COVID-19. Have we as a country exploited the opportunities given to us on a platter? The capital outflows that took place in China, you had the South Korean, the Japanese, the various other investors, American, removing themselves, extricating themselves from China. And you had the Indian Prime Minister Modi, setting up special units in the Prime Minister's office to attract such investment. Vietnam followed suit. A lot of investments have flown to Indonesia. Just imagine if President Premadasa was around. I mean, he would be salivating. Saliva would have been coming out of his mouth, seeing this opportunity of attracting high-valued capital into our country. No such idea or thinking. I mean, come on, this government, it's basically based on personalities, staged shows, a lot of choreography. They say charisma, but charisma that lacks substance. What is charisma? Charisma is the ability to generate energy, capability and enthusiasm that would promote prosperity in the country. That is substantive charisma. But our people are fooled by, what shall I say, political makeup. It's time that our electorate became more wiser when it comes to deciding on governors and rulers for our country. Governors and rulers who would be classified as temporary trustees. Now they are behaving as they are permanent owners, freehold owners of land, the whole country, whereas they are all temporary trustees, Tavakalika Baharkarwan. And this trusteeship is given for 5-6 years. And come whatever, 4, 5, 6 years, you have to face the music. But I hope and pray that the electorate will not be once again misled by the various political projects, various media hype that may be created in times of election time.